I'm just going to do another quick one that kind of mirrors the Save As movie, but if you want to export to a TIFF for analysis, I'm going to drag and drop that mvd2 file on here from the spinning disk data set we did in the other tutorial, and just go with the OK and pick the defaults and bring the OK in there and go ahead and load that one in. So that'll take a second, and what we're going to do is export the files to individual TIFFs and to one big TIFF that's a series of TIFF in one file for different analysis software depending on what you need to do. These are 16-bit data sets, so when you open them up with Windows as TIFFs, it won't show them. So we've got some YouTubes on 8-bit versus 16-bit and picture versus data, so have a look at those. And so once you've opened it up, and when you're saving a TIFF in terms of a data file for analysis, we're not going to process it. Whatever we do to the display here doesn't make a difference. We have a 16-bit data file, and if you go to the type, you'll see this is a 16-bit data file here. And so when we export as a TIFF, it's going to save as a 16-bit data file, no matter what we would do with the display. We would have to convert the image type to an RGB color if you wanted to get a color TIFF, but that would kind of defeat the purpose. And I suggest the movie is better for a smaller file type, and keep the mvd2 as the raw data if you don't need the TIFFs for analysis. So in this case, we go to File, Save As. There's no plugins required. These are defaults in Fiji. An image sequence is the one if you want a sequence of images. We can do TIFF, give it the name, number of digits on the end. This is how many zeros, and it's trailing. We've got 592, so 3 would be sufficient. And then we click OK. This save dialog remembers where I was, and then so it will put in the name here with 3 trailing zeros. And you go ahead and hit save, and it will just create a ton of those, and you will have a bunch of TIFFs, hundreds of TIFFs with raw data that you can analyze. And if you open it with a photo viewer, you won't see the data. The Windows thinks it's 16-bit, and it actually goes up to, the values are probably only somewhere near 2000. Just look at the brightness and contrast, yeah, a few thousand. So it's just not contrast adjusted to see it, and keep that in mind. And if you wanted to take the same data set and save it as one big file, you do Save As and TIFF, and then this one, it's got a different default file in there. I've already saved it a moment ago playing around, but let's just overwrite that. And there, so we have a TIFF file here, it's 1.6 gigabyte TIFF of raw data. And again, if we open it with Windows, we just get a black screen because of the contrast, and the data's in there, and then it's got the different layers of that TIFF if you wanted to pull it in as one big stack of data sets.